All right, so welcome back. This is, um, I think this is the third chapter. Yeah, third chapter in the first 90 days of trading. I've added some stuff, so the chapters from before are going to be off a little bit. But as you know, we are working our way up this pyramid. We're building our foundation right now. We talked about realistic expectations. We're into the process component of it, and then we'll start moving into these others. It's important that we spend time and we build our foundation because throughout our trading, we're gonna experience storms. Okay, sometimes they're gonna be of our own making. But as we get better, we're just gonna deal with the market storms that just hit us, and we may not be prepared for it, and our house comes down. But as long as we have this foundation, we will be able to build off of it. Okay, we can start with this foundation and build a new framework on it, and just build a whole new trading house. But if we don't have this foundation and it falls, everything just washes away, and it's probably something we won't come back from. All right, so last week we talked about trusting the process. And we talked about how in school, when we were learning how to write, how to read, how to add and subtract, there was a process to it. We just didn't get a book and told to read it. Okay, we even had to learn how to interpret the pictures that we saw. All right, when we learned how to swim, again, there was a process that we learned how to swim. And even those parents who think it's a good idea to just throw their babies in the water, there's a process that they use, albeit a little insane and dangerous. There's all a process. Like when we drive a car, there is a process to it. But what we're getting at here is through all of this, once we've learned and we've gone through the process becomes second nature. We don't think through what we're doing, we just do it. We get in a car. Nowadays, cars, you have to put your foot on the brake to hit the button to start it. You don't think about it anymore. You just put it on there, hit it. Some cars, you got to have your seatbelt hooked before you put it in gear. So you've created this process that you just do without thinking. That's what we're trying to do in our trading. We don't want the processes, we don't want to get hung up on and trying to think and decipher in the heat of battle. So we don't want to be driving down the road trying to figure out, how to stop or how to, maneuver, because it's dangerous. In the same way with stocks, we don't want to get out there trading and trying to figure things out while we're in the middle of a trade. So the process is very, very important. It doesn't just help us learn, but again, it helps us to build confidence and self-discipline. So striving for perfection, perfect results, it is a painful and endless path, which is likely to make you search for the magic chart indicator or the hot guru at the time, or spend too much time and money trying to find tools that you can analyze the market and search for that elusive hidden secret. There is no hidden secret. Okay, everything is right in front of your face. Everything that you need is right in front of your face. You just have to know how to use it. And that's the purpose, one of the big purposes of this program. Because professional traders, they focus on the perfection of executing their processes, not the perfection of the results. Okay, let me repeat that in case you missed it. Professional traders focus on the perfection of executing their processes versus the perfection of their results. That's their focus. That's why they're able to come in and execute trades and not worry about the same stuff you guys worry about. That's why I'm able to come in and take trades and trust the reading price action, because I have 100% confidence that everything I need is right there on the chart to tell me. Now, can I make a mistake executing it? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, if we're serious about trading, we must start with developing a process. It's what we can control. Trading results are beyond our control, but by continually making sure we're following our process, positive results begin to occur naturally. Okay, so we don't have to think about the results. If we focus on the process, focus on the things we can control, the trading results will come naturally. And we'd be surprised at what we're getting. Some of you are already seeing that now. You're focusing on the process and the results are blowing your mind. But when you stop focusing on the process and start trying to get the same results the next day or on the next trade, you get all screwed up. So it's about focusing on the process. If you do that, you will execute consistently in the market and the results will take care of themselves. So I introduced process mapping to you last week, and I wanted to quickly go over it. Like I said, a lot of people are kind of confused about how this works. But, basically, you're mapping out your process so that it makes it easy for you to understand and improve on when something is not working right. It's laid out to, where you organize your thoughts. It's really easy to do that. And it's not hard to make or to find one. I recommend you make one. I'm going to show you how easy it is to do it. Like I said, most of y'all probably already know how to do it, but there are a handful that really don't and need help. Okay? But if you do go out looking for one, the best thing to do is to find a simple one that's going to help you. Okay, so you see process mapping. You probably have heard of it in your work. A lot of businesses use it because it helps people manage the business. It helps people manage productivity. But it is a planning and management tool that visually describes the flow of work. In trading, we have a flow of work. Believe it or not, we have a flow of work. And in order to manage that, it's easier to have it laid out to where it makes sense. There is software out there, probably free software that you can get out there and practice or draw your own. But it shows a series of events that take you through to an end result. It's just like our trade. We go through a series of events from the time we start in the morning until the time, we close out a trade. So it's sometimes called a flow chart. You've seen that. Process flow chart, process chart, functional process chart. All of these names it goes by. But it's just a simple way to show that sometimes who or what is involved in a process, and it can be used in anything we do. And also, and what's really important to us as traders, it can show us where we can improve our process. Alright, so this is just a simple one that I'm showing you, and then we're going to go through one that I kind of made up really quick just to show you how simple they can be. But this one is about making pasta. And this is how the chart flows. You want to start making it, you got to put water in the pan, put the pan on the stove, turn on the stove. Is the water boiling? No. Wait for the water to boil. If it is, yes, add the pasta. Is the pasta ready? No. Wait for it to finish cooking. If it is, yeah, drain the water and eat pasta. I don't know anybody that eats plain pasta. Okay, we need some sauce and all this stuff to go on it. I'm assuming there's another flow chart for how to make the sauce that goes on the pasta. But you see how simple that is. So, and here's some of the things that we can use, or that we can lay out our trading processes for. Your morning routine. Coming into the market in the same mindset every day is going to be key. Okay, you got to have that morning routine. You got to have a scanning process. How are you going to find stocks? If you have your Fugly 5 like me, or Sexy 6, then that's great. That's your scanning process. But you probably want to look at more stocks than just what we've got. Okay? So we want to, we want to make sure that we have a process that's going to help us find the stocks that are in play, because our Sexy 6 or Fugly 5 may not be in play that day. That's what it boils down to. How you vet the stocks. Once you find them, how do you vet them to see whether they make the grade or not? How you preparing for the open. Your trade engagement process. How do you prepare to engage the trade? And then what are the rules of engagement for your strategy? Each strategy that you trade should have specific rules of engagement that will keep you from getting in when you're not supposed to. That'll keep you from anticipating the move or taking the trade off too soon. Okay, these are rules that actually help you reap the benefits of the edge that you have. Because you can have an edge and not execute it properly and not make any money. I've had a lot of people bitch about the opening range strategy. It's because they're not executing it right. And they refuse to do it because they're following every Tom, Dick, and Harry. It happens. Okay, but if you have rules of engagement and you look through it, then you'll be able to realize quickly what's working and what's not, and what you need to change. And then journaling and reflection. These are some things that I just thought about I mean, it could be something else that you do. But these are things that you want to lay out and kind of have a process map for. But once you do it and you follow it, over a period of time, it's going to become second nature, right? It's going to become second nature. And you won't even think about it anymore. Okay, so let's take a look at this is a process map, and we're going to go through it. I'm going to fill it out as we go through this. Okay, so the first thing we need to have on here, what is this process map for? What is it for? It's the anatomy of our day trade. Okay, so this is a simple flow map telling you of how I'm executing my day trade. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to scan or screen for potential watches. Guess what? You can actually branch off of this all the way over here and put your process for your scan or screen process. Okay, because you're gonna have a process for that. You like for me, I already have the same watches every day, but I'm gonna scan or screen for stocks that are on earnings that morning. Or I'm going to scan a screen for stocks that were on earnings the night before. Because I want to be able to vet those. So if I wanted to, I could branch off of here and do that and then bring it back to this, to vet stocks. But guess what? I could do the same thing for vetting stocks. Okay, if I want to, I could branch off of this and have a process map for how I vet stocks. Now see, I've done all of this years ago. That's why I can just come in and do it, and I don't have to follow the process. It's just like me getting in the car and driving it. I already know I can do it without thinking about it. So we vet stocks for potential. Okay, and they're either going to pass or they're going to fail. All right, so if they fail, they go in the trash. Don't keep it on watch just in case. Because what that's telling you is that you don't have confidence in your vetting. Okay, that's what that's telling you. You have zero confidence in your ability to vet your stocks. So if you don't think it's going to work, you still kind of hang on to it. No. If it fails, it goes in the trash. That's done. If it passes, it makes your active watch list. Okay, you see how simple that is? And if some of you are already you're already at the point where you can do this without thinking. But you may not be 100% confident in your ability to make watch lists. So all of that will come from your process for vetting stocks. Okay, scanning or screening is easy. You just have a screener looking for stocks that meet your criteria. That's simple. There's no thinking in that. Once you get that, then it becomes a little bit more subjective. But you still want to have a process for vetting that's going to tell you whether to throw it away or keep it active. Okay, now you're going to make trade plans for each of the stocks that was on your watch list. So, and during the vetting process, we pretty much figured out what we were looking for. So now it's time to make, plans as to, okay, if the stock does this, This is going to trigger an entry. This is where my profit targets are going to be. You know, this is where the stop's going to be or whatever. And if you need a process for your trade plans, bam, you just branch another process map off of it. And now you have a process for building your trading plans. All right, and then now, okay, when the entry triggers, you just take the damn trade. There's no need to think right now. You've already used your mind. You've already thought through everything. Now, if it triggers and you still have the trade, you take it. It's just that simple. If it doesn't trigger, you don't take it. You know, it makes sense. So we want to execute our trade plan perfectly. Once we take the trade, we execute the plan perfectly. And once we're done with the trade, we look for more trade opportunities. Or right here, you can put down, instead of this, you could put down reflection and journaling. And then you can branch off and put down your process for reflection and journaling. But again, but once you do this and you map out your trading, all aspects of your trading, and you know exactly without a shadow of a doubt what you're doing at each moment. And if you're having issues, you come back to this and figure out, what am I doing wrong? Is there something I'm doing wrong? Because like if you put reflection and journaling here and you know the market's still going on, you might miss some trade opportunities. So then you come back and say, oh, I need to put this here. And then once I'm done with that, then I could do reflection and journaling and go from there. All right, guys, is that simple enough? So how many of you guys have already done this? Or already have processes for everything you do that you follow every day, and it's becoming a habit? Because some of you that I did one-on-one mentoring with, this is one of the things that we talked about and worked on. So, and what it does, it keeps you from thinking and worrying about stuff that you shouldn't be worried about. And you could just focus on executing. Alright, so for those of you that ask me, how to draw it, I'm going to show you right quick. I'm going to have to bring this up. I'm going to bring this up. So I recommend doing it on a PowerPoint, because you've got the wide screen and then you can move these shapes around better than if you do it on like if you try to do it in Microsoft Word or something like this. So all you do is just this simple. Okay, you want to go to Insert, Shapes. Alright, so let's say we want to start with an oval here. So we can draw an oval or we can make it a circle. I mean, we can do whatever the hell we want to do with this shape. But let's say we just want to do this. And then here we want to do some boxes or some and then, you know, once you do that, you could copy and paste these things. However you want to do this, then we could insert. Let's say you want a tricky triangle here, or however you want to do this. You know, but you can move these shapes around, and the way you type in them, you just insert a text box. And put whatever you want to in here. Oops. Like, help me, I'm lost. And you could go through and do your whole process. And then here's where you can, and also, I know y'all want to know, well, how do we put the arrows right here? It's there too. And you can change the color of these. If you're on a black background and you want to make it white, you can make it white. And then, you know, you don't have to keep moving this stuff. You can just manipulate it however you want to. Move them around, copy, paste, do whatever you want to do. This is PowerPoint. Okay, you can make these smaller. Alright, you can make them smaller. But however you want to do it, I mean, whatever you want to put onto it, you just make a simple flow chart of things you follow every day. You will create habits. Now we're going to have a whole class, a whole program on developing habits. So, you know, but this is a shortcut. So, does anybody have any questions? Then you could do it however you want to do it. You can do it however you want to do it. All right. Is it simple enough? Nope. But like I said, a lot of you probably dealt with this and worked with this, and you're more advanced, you know, in this. But but a lot of us aren't. and I needed to do this as a supplement to what we did. Yes, rinse and repeat. You have your process. That's the consistency you've got to have. Like I said, professional traders focus on the consistency of executing their process, not the results. The results will take care of themselves. You know, people that come in and say, well, I'm going to make $500 a day. You know, there are days where you can't make 500, then there are days where you're going to make more. But if you focus on just trying to make $500 a day, you're selling yourself short. So the focus really needs to be on implementing and executing your process into what you're doing. Every day, doing the same thing every day. The market's going to be different, but you're the same person. Every day, you're the same person. All right, so no more questions. I'm going to stop this recording.